Anyone else remember Iran discovered 7,000 tons of a very rare, very fucking expensive metal-like material called antimony? Antimony?
Yeah, after a decade of geological exploration, Iran found over 7,000 tons of a very rare and very expensive metal-like material with major military and advancement technological uses called antimony, which is a brittle silver-looking metalloid that exhibits both metal and non-metal properties that has the ability to strengthen and harden other metals, particularly lead. It's used in a whole range of products like match heads, batteries, bullets, ceramics, and even some medications that treat parasitic infections. It's used in night vision goggles and infrared sensors, and it's an essential ingredient in flame retardants and advanced electronic systems. This is a very rare and valuable mineral with wide applications.
So the question remains, are we going into the war with Iran because of antimony? Are we striking Iran because of antimony? Well, let's talk about this. In reality, 7,000 tons is not as much as you may think. For example, China has 350,000 tons of antimony as a reserves. And as you can see on the chart that is next to me, hopefully on the screen that you can see, 7,000 tons will not rank you even in the first 10 countries that have antimony reserves. Also, one thing to point out is that, for example, China in 2022 was able to mine 60,000 tons of antimony in single year. And so, as you can see, all of these countries, at least the first three of them on this list, are able to mine all of the Iranians' reserve in just 1 year. And so what I'm trying to point out is that 7,000 tons is not a significant amount of reserves. It is possible that Iran may found even more reserves of antimony in the future, but for now 7,000 tons is not a significant amount. They would change global politics. The reason why I believe that the United States is targeting Iran has more to do with geopolitics, with the geopolitics and the strategy instead of resources. This is not a resource-driven conflict. This is more of a geopolitics-driven conflict. Basically, since the coup in the 1950s, when the United States put the monarch into the government of Iran. Iran has been a very close ally of the United States at that time. Actually, with Saudi Arabia, they were often referenced as the two towers. They were referenced as similarly as in Lord of the Rings, the two towers that were protecting the empire, the same way Saudi Arabia and Iran at that time were the two towers that were protecting the oil for the United States empire, and the Iran has been as close as it can get. It were at the time even closer than the colony, than the Israel's colony. That is because at the time United States shared their newest technology with Iran. They shared the fighter jets, the newest fighter jets with them at that time. They didn't even share these fighter jets with the colony. They didn't even share these fighter jets with Israel at that time. But since then, obviously, things have changed. In geopolitics, things change quite fast. In the 1970s, the Shah was overthrown by there was a coup by the United States again. That is because there have already been riots brewing in the background, and there were basically two factions in Iran. One of them was communist, and the second one was religious. strongly religious with more of a right-wing ties, and so the United States is overthrow Shah in order to get the more anti-communist government. They were afraid that if the communists would win, they would get too close with the Russians, and so they helped this current regime to get into power. This Islamic regime to get into power instead of the communist regime, which essentially at the end a little bit backfired, because the current Islamic regime has quite close to Russia. They have quite close to Russia because they have been driven by the United States into basically allyship, into a partnership. That is because the United States have been quite heavily against the Iranians and their regime, and they were trying to basically overthrow them ever since. They have been, you know, as you heard Netanyahu, which he is just a warmonger from Washington DC. He is just a warmonger for the war machine, United States' war machine. As you heard him, for 20-30 years, he has been trying to overthrow the Iranians regime, and so this drove this anti-Iranian regime that is in Washington has driven the Iranians closer to Russia. One very important thing that I really want to mention in this video is that China is obviously the number one target of the Trump's administration. They are seen as the biggest threat. That is because they are the peer comparator. We are no longer in the unipolar world, we are in multipolar world, and China is being seen as the biggest threat. The problem is that you cannot attack China. They have nuclear weapons. You cannot attack countries with nuclear weapons because that's just not possible. But you want to try to limit them. You want to try to suppress them. And this is also a problematic because the United States is heavily dependent on China. They are importing a lot of chemical components, so a lot of medicine that is being consumed by the American consumers has a lot of Chinese components in them. Also, the war machine itself requires a lot of raw materials from China, a lot of different parts being produced in China, and so the Americans want to basically suppress the Chinese by cutting them from the oil supply that they are getting from Iran. And so the United States' war machine is actually hoping that by changing regime in Iran, this would mean that they would be able to put oil sanctions on China whenever they would want to. They would want to get back Iran under the influence of the American empire as it was before, like the two towers comparison. They would love to get them back under the American influence, and therefore they would be able to restrain the oil that is coming into China. This would give them advantage if there was a conflict between China and United States, either direct or indirect, like a proxy war. If there was a proxy war between United States and China, they would be able to put oil sanctions on China. And the Chinese, on the other hand, can right now put sanctions on the United States, as we can see with the rare earth minerals and metals. They can put sanctions on United States, and this is a big problem for the United States' war machine. This is seen as a security threat. So to finish, my main point is that the United States is bombing and attacking Iran either directly or through their colony in Israel because they want regime change that would then be able to basically chokehold or put oil sanctions on China, which is their primary threat. So it's sort of an indirect threat to China. And that is the reason why they are basically trying to have a regime change in Iran. It's a geopolitical reason. It's not a resource-driven reason. One last thing that I want to mention in this video is that antimony is being used in the old school batteries, in the old school car batteries that are based on lead. But in the new batteries, in the lithium batteries that are being used in the new modern electric cars, new modern EV cars, antimony is not being currently used. Instead, there's been graphite. Graphite is being used instead of antimony. Actually, there has been a new research that is trying to subsidize graphite. Instead of graphite, they would put antimony inside of these new batteries, and the advantage is that there would be these new batteries with antimony instead of graphite would be able to hold twice as much electricity. So potentially the cars would be able to go twice as a long distance than with graphite. And so we should be optimistic for the future that antimony will be the thing that will provide more distance for us in the future. On a little bit of a lighter note, I have a big, beautiful announcement to make. One of our investigative journalists, Poppy Gloria, has been able to record a interview with a Roswell UFO crash survivor. And so make sure to watch out for that video on my channel. It will be up soon. It's quite exciting. It's truly exciting. And also make sure to check out my blog that is unique, original, amazing, and everything as well. And also make sure to smash that like button, make sure to smash that subscribe button, make sure to check out the videos here, there, and everywhere. And as always, guys, I will see ya in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye.